What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going to be naming one player. Well, I'm going to be naming one player that I think the Lions will be targeting in this year's draft. So let's get it started. Alright, now this was something sent to me on Twitter, and the idea was, hey, name your 3 players that the Lions will be targeting. And I was like, okay, let me get back to you on that. You know who you are. If you're watching this video, you hit me up on Twitter. And I was like, that's a good idea. So they named their 3. I think their 3 was Jordan Elliott, Bradley Anae, and I don't remember who the third was. But I was like, oh, that's really cool. I think that'd be a really cool idea, actually. So I decided to make, okay, one video for every player that I think the Lions were seriously targeting. So that's what we're doing in today's video. We're looking at my first one. Now, I wanted to look at players that are different. I didn't want to just go with the guys that came right in my head, because there's a couple of players when I think of, okay, who are the Lions targeting? Here's what I think of. You know, I might think of a sleeper. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Like, I think of the same players a lot of the times. And I wanted to kind of like look at different players and kind of get a good feeling of more players in this draft. And, you know, just kind of get to know more players. That way, when the Lions select someone that I didn't think of, I'm not like, oh, who is that? Like, I want to know more of these players. So today, we're going with a different running back that I really haven't talked about before. But yet, you guys have. I know you guys have. I don't know who exactly it was. But I know some of you guys have been talking about this running back. And after I looked at him, I think y'all are right. I think this would be a very good fit for Detroit Lions, and I think it's definitely a guy the Lions are targeting. So this is Zack Moss, and Zack Moss actually had a formal meeting with the Detroit Lions back on March 4th, I believe. Now, obviously, you have formal meetings with a lot of players, but that could show that the Detroit Lions are somewhat interested. Zack Moss is projected to go in the second round. This is a running back out of Utah. He's projected to go in the second round. I think he'll fall to the third round with guys like Clyde, J.K., Jonathan, Andre Swift. I think all those running backs will go before, so that will push him to the third round, possibly even the fourth, which is obviously be better. Lions have 2 third-round picks, so I definitely think this is someone they could be targeting. Honestly, before we get into it, I think it really comes down to Kerryon. What did the Lions do with Kerryon? If they keep Kerryon, Bo, and Ty, don't think this makes sense. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it makes sense to have 4 running backs unless you're planning to possibly move Kerryon at some point. Now, you could draft him and, you know, with Kerryon and be like, okay, you know, if he wins the role, we'll trade Kerryon away or something. That makes sense. Or you can move Bo, or you can move Ty. Or drop someone back to the practice squad. But I don't think you can have 4 running backs. There's not enough touches in our offense. You know, we're not the Titans. We don't hand the ball off all the time. So I don't think that would work. But I was looking for a running back to do multiple things. And I still believe Jonathan Taylor is probably going to, I still think he'll be the best running back out of this draft class. He's just an incredible runner. However, Jonathan Taylor is not necessarily a receiving back. He's not someone that you want to rely on when receiving. He can do it. He tried to show everybody that he could do it at the combine. He has like 8 drops on 50 targets. The thing is, I think, you know, Jonathan Taylor's a heck of a running back. I just don't know if he's a heck of a running back for us. Would I love to take him? Sure. I would absolutely love to take him still. But I think this is more of a guy that the Lions are thinking of, and that is Zack Moss. Concerns with Zack Moss. You know, there's 2 main concerns that come with Zack Moss. And let's talk about him. The first one is the school he went to, Utah. You know, you don't think of Utah, and I think that's why he's going to fall very far. Even though he grades out better than a lot of other running backs, this happens with every position. If you go to a school that, you know, doesn't play as much competition, that isn't as well known, you don't get as much credit, right? You know, we've seen it all the time. Kevin Dotson graded out one of the best offensive linemen, projected to go 7th round. Why? Because he went to Louisiana. So, you know, there's kind of something there. A guy like Zack Moss, what great players come out of Utah recently? I actually don't know. There probably is. I don't know, but Utah isn't talked about as much as LSU, Ohio State, you know, Wisconsin. Those are some big schools, and you think of running backs from there, like, yeah, you know, Ezekiel Elliott came from there. Leonard Fournette came from there, right? You got some really good running backs coming from those schools. Then you think Utah. Oh, who do they play? You know, stuff like that. And I think the other concern is his top-end speed, which we'll get to. He only ran a 4.65, so definitely concerned there. I don't think he can get to the next year necessarily, but even in college games versus, depending on who's chasing him, he can win his race to the end zone. However, I think overall, this is probably the one guy the Lions should be targeting as a mid-round pick if they're looking running back. Zack Moss was very good statistically. He's 22 years old, so he's on the higher end of that. You know, he'll be the higher end of the rookie ages, but I mean, I don't think that's a very big deal, to be honest with you. But he's a very good player. He does everything. When I talk about an all-around player, he literally is an all-around player. He's elusive. He has vision. He's got that burst, I think, to get out of the backfield. I don't think he has the top end, but he's got the burst. He can receive. He can pass block, which is so underrated, but so important. We need guys to help pass block back there. And he's 5'9", 223 pounds, not the biggest. I think sometimes it's actually a good thing because, you know, the defense can't really see him. He can kind of hide behind the offensive line. But this dude just gives you everything that you might ask. Okay, he grades out higher than pretty much everybody else when it comes to the college football running backs. But again, he just does everything. And he's one of the toughest runners I've seen, right? He just runs so hard. He's always running through arm tackles. I think it was out of 66 catches, 33. He had 33 broken tackles out of 66 catches, which is incredible. That just shows. I mean, you want a guy that can break tackles, that's Zack Moss. And it's hard to find those running backs in college because you look at, so say you're just looking at running backs, for example, and you just look at highlights. What are you going to see? You're going to see most running backs that are getting 80 yards, like, oh, that's cool. But you got to look a little bit, you got to watch the games. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch the games of these players and see, okay, Obviously, he didn't break every play. So what is he doing on the other ones? Zach Moss is running people over. Okay, this guy runs hard. He's an absolute red zone threat when it comes to running the football. You think of wide receivers. How we have really struggled in the red zone recently, right? I think we got a little bit better last season. But a guy like Zach Moss could help because if you watch his tape at all, this is the guy they go to in the red zone constantly. Again, he can catch the ball in the backfield, which is super important. He has hands, and in our offense, I think that fits a little bit better. He doesn't have to be the bell cow, but he can do everything. I really just think this is the running back that the Lions should be targeting, and they are targeting. They had the formal meeting. It's going to be a mid-round pick. I think he could fall a little bit, but I just think he gives you everything. And the way he runs is he runs so hard. He's not the biggest, not the bulkiest, not the fastest, not the most athletic, but he does everything well. He just runs through arm tacklers. He just runs so hard, and that's great to see. I mean, this guy just does not go down on the first day. Arm tackles, you're not bringing him down. And he will run over people. Like, you're not coming at him, he's going to run over you. I'm just saying, like a secondary player, he will run over that dude. He'll pancake him. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, let's look at some grades here. Graded 91.7 in rushing, 89 in zone, 85.5 in man, 176.8 in elusiveness, and he had 4.45 yards after contact. What? 4.5 yards after contact, that to me, it's crazy. This is an arm. This is a guy that's going to break tackles. And, you don't always see that a lot with college running backs. You just see, oh, wow, he's fast. He's fast. You give it to him out there and everybody blocks and he doesn't get touched. He's going to run to the end zone and beat everybody there. But this is a guy that got hit a lot more, broke tons of tackles. And I just think this is a guy that Detroit Lions could absolutely be targeting, especially if Kerryon Johnson may not be in their future. So I just want to point that out. My first player the Detroit Lions could be targeting this year's draft. We will do more of these. Let me know one player as well, but not Zach Moss. Well, you can name Zach Moss, but I would go with someone else. And another ones of these are probably coming if the support is there. So make sure you hit the like button, all right? Don't ask for it all that, but if you hit the like button, I can give you more of these. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.